Hey everybody, it's Edwardo here with your DraftStream Saturday Estimates update. We see some familiar faces atop the game. Yes, it's Jaybird once again, the pride of Hamilton, Ontario, I believe. London, Ontario, there we go. Is at it again. 1,348 points. But not too far behind. It's the homie Gamble24x7 G24, the all-time Cinema Draft money leader. Giving him all he can handle. Let's check out Jaybird's call sheet. And yeah, he's right on it. 4-pack of In My Skin that he got. I mean, look at this bargain basement price, honestly. I mean, getting 111 base score, 156 points for only 12,300. Incredible value there. And I believe it's the highest scoring. Yes, it is the highest scoring title on the weekend, just ahead of the Umbrella Academy. We'll get back there in a moment. Let's see. Perfect call sheet for comparison. It's headliner stack Afraid, headliner stack of In My... Oh, sorry, 3-pack of In My Skin, 3-pack of Tijuana Jackson, and a headliner stack of Transformers War for Cybertron. And let's talk about Tijuana Jackson for a hot second. This is my new favorite film. Unfortunately, I did not watch the trailer until I was actually assembling this week's game, putting y'all's call sheets together. Otherwise, had I probably would have exposed myself a little bit more to Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. This thing is hysterical. It is flat out hysterical. And it's exactly what you see here. An ex-convict on parole is set on becoming a world-renowned motivational speaker, which sounds absurd on the face of it. It's even more absurd when you watch it. It is... I mean, it is fire. First of all, yes, we know the prison industrial complex is nothing to laugh at, and he alludes to that with a disclaimer at the end. But my God, this guy, and Romany Malco, he's one of those ultimate that guys. 51 years old, black don't crack. He is been around for a while. You remember him on Weeds, like, I don't know, a dozen years ago, maybe even longer. Weeds ran for about 7 seasons. He's currently on A Million Little Things as a series regular, you know, get that bread, and you just kind of see him in a bunch of odd stuff. But in this one, he wrote, directed, edited, and also is the star of Tijuana Jackson, Purpose Over Prison. Basically, it's kind of like they use like handheld camera style, like as they're filming a documentary on him, because he's just like, he's got this blog called Prison Logic, and she's the young filmmaker. She just graduated film school, you know, burdened by a ton of debt. Is trying to do this for a film school class. Only supposed to be 10-minute featurette. Turns into an entire feature film, and it's just Shannon Dang. She was great, and this thing is just relentlessly funny. I mean, wildly inappropriate on many levels, and his prison logic just comes through everywhere. It's wild. I mean, he has some points. Tijuana Jackson has some points at certain times. Like, his whole ministry is not unfounded. So, and what's even great about this is the backstory. Apparently, I tweeted out a few lines from it from my Swag Poker account last night, and one of my followers hit me up and said that he'd actually supported this. This was a film on Indiegogo. It's a project Indiegogo, so that's where he got, I guess, the bulk of his funds in order to make this happen. And it's just, I can't stop smiling. I think I gave it like what I give it on IMDb? A 9? Yeah, I gave it a 9. Hopefully more people will discover it over the weekend. You know, this is definitely a case of little guy, little film can make good. And part of the issue with scoring for it this weekend is because it's under the radar, video on demand, totally independent, 9390 is excellent considering it's gotten 0 critical reviews. Not 0%, like 0, like they're not even checking for this. So I don't know. I don't know if this will become a cult classic, but it should. And also, let's not forget Regina Hall. She's great in this as well. Anything she's in is pretty much worth seeing. So I highly recommend Tijuana Jackson. Purpose over prison. He's just got so many lines, man. He really does. I highly recommend it. Check out the trailer at least if you're mildly curious. All right, so Tijuana Jackson's in the house, and God forbid it gets an actual critical review. We could see the score get even higher. I think it deserves to be at 100. To be honest with you. What else? Gamble 24x7. G24 has an 811 headliner, co-star, day player, construction. Frayed in my skin. Hey, Tijuana. Got that headliner stack. And a headliner stack from Transformers, Cybertron Trilogy. What does he need to close the gap? Well, some more Tijuana Jackson wouldn't hurt, but actually, no, that actually would be inconsequential. They share the same actors. The Weight of Gold. See, no one's covering this, and I'm actually concerned. It's very solid. I watch it over the weekend. Basically, Michael Phelps narrates and is part of a documentary on what happens to Olympic athletes after competition's over. And, you know, it turns out there's a lot of mental health issues and things that we as like just average Olympics consumers every 4 years or whatever don't even really realize or pay attention to, of like how poorly they're paid and just the mental challenges they have once the games stop and they try to essentially reintegrate with society after spending their entire lives as athletic and social outliers. I mean, they sacrifice everything for these competitions. So I thought it was really good. I gave it an 8, as you can see. And I'm just concerned because Rotten Tomatoes didn't cover it. It doesn't have a Google user score yet, which isn't entirely odd. It's just because it's on HBO, not a lot of hoopla behind it. Honestly, I hadn't heard of it. I wouldn't have found it if I didn't run this game, and that's part of the great thing about DraftStream is, you know, movie and title discovery. But it needs some Google love. I'm not sure what it's going to take by Monday 12 p.m. Pacific time to get some Google love, but it really should. It's a solid movie. So that's probably his clearest path to victory. He needs some help from The Weight of Gold, and that's Jay Bird's call sheet once again. And then they go back and forth competing with each other. But let's take a look at PK, our senior UI UX designer, Palakathuria. Aratukak. I'm not going to say. I'm just calling you PK. All right, PK, in only her second attempt playing, is knocking on the top 5? What's going on, PK? Well, the Umbrella Academy. Not enough exposure, people, to the Umbrella Academy. She also has a 811 construction. The Wrong Stepfather is somewhat holding her back, and honestly, this looks like it was probably just a salary play because she spent up on the Umbrella Academy. She spent up, and you know she's getting. I mean, it's not a ton of value, but you're getting your points. It's not like Black is King, and I'll get to that in a second. I'm about to go off on Black is King, but she spent up to get this triumvirate, a bit of a Stars and Scrubs, but you know she mitigates with some Summerland, which actually looks like it's giving you some really good value for 8,600, 125 points. And The Wrong Stepfather here, as far as punts go, you could do worse. I mean, 73.50, 102.90 on 5,800 is actually pretty decent. So I like where your head's at. Ah, you forgot the tiebreakers. Hopefully we'll get them next week. But yeah, I mean, showing improving. Second week out. A point above. she's going to be unbearable at work next week if she has a higher score than me. What do I need to do to get past my own coworker? All right, so I've got the optimal stack of In My Skin and Housewives, man. It's all going to come down to Monday final scoring. The Real Housewives of Potomac Season 5 does not debut until Sunday night. So fingers crossed. We probably won't get any new information on them with the Sunday update. So it's all going to come down to the final scoring. A lot can happen. A lot can happen. The Wrong Stepfather, I was essentially punting. And Tijuana Jackson. Oh, man, if only I'd known. Maybe I could have gotten... Yeah, I probably could have gotten a headliner and got rid of this Transformers. I don't know. Actually, Transformers is getting decent value, but, you know, so is Tijuana Jackson. I mean, 9,400 or 6,400 for 93 base points, 11, 12, 68. So, I mean, I don't think I have a path to victory this weekend. So I'm just concerned with beating out my designer. Sorry for if you can hear that. I'm not sure if the mic's picking it up. A bunch of cawing birds outside my window. Awesome. Anyways, I just need to beat her. That's all I care about this weekend. Oh, the Roan! Right behind me. Let's see what Henry G, one of our favored Cinema Draft podcast guests, is up to this week. And... The Umbrella Academy, The Weight of Gold. This is solid. Get Even. I don't know if this is necessarily underperforming. I mean, it's pricey, but you're only getting 91.50 for 15,000. You'd hope you'd get closer to 100 base score right here. It's not a bad pick. I mean, the points were built in. The issue with Get Even is that I believe some scores are missing. Yeah, the critical stuff is missing. Not the highest IMDb user score either. Oh, and speaking of, yeah, let's take a look at Black is King for a second, which the highest priced salary on the slate, the Disney Plus special from Beyonce Knowles Carter, where she directed a great chunk of it, starred in it. It's a concept visual album. It's essentially rehashing her Lion King soundtrack from last year, but adding the visuals definitely does make all the difference. And I'm about to go off. Point of personal privilege, since this is my damn podcast, but especially all right. So 5.8, I just think is wildly incorrect. I mean, just from visuals alone. The art direction, the production design, even if you don't like her or the music, that alone is worth an 8.0. But my God, look at some of these. I mean, it's just ridiculous. The comments and the reviews of this. It's obviously rated a 10. I was very moved by the entire experience. It was great. So this is wild. Look at that. 65% of us gave it a 10. That's the highest average of any of them, and yet 21% are giving it a 1. That's bonkers. I mean, a 1, it has zero artistic value or merit. And look at these user reviews. This is some bullshit. So, stunning, absolutely beautiful, not bullshit. Helpful. Black is beautiful, yes. Brought me to tears, we need to see. 1, not even historical, accurate, just boring. Okay. Sigh. Oh, and this is even worse. As a black guy, this makes me sad. What? I mean, and it goes on, it's just all this nonsense. And the reason why this pisses me off is that, I mean, Beyonce clearly set out to create something artistic, beautiful, visionary. And yes, it centers the black experience, the Pan-African experience. I think she filmed the entirety of this on the continent of Africa, using a lot of local talent, local stars, musicians, artisans, and what have you, to, in much in a way with the movie Black Panther, express the many facets of the African continent that we rarely see in the West, from the beauty and the joy and the color of their lives, outside of the normal, typical colonialized stuff we get to see with, you know, starving kids and poverty and infighting and stuff like that. Like this was like, I mean, yes, this was an ode to blackness and to black self-love, but also it's fairly universal. Anyone can watch that visual album and just see like the sheer beauty of the stuff that she's putting out there. I mean, from the costuming, I mean, the costumes, the thing looks like $1 trillion. The money's all up on that screen. It looks great. She went way out of her way to entertain us and give us this, you know, this gift of a you know, extended music video type film. And you got a whole bunch of racists up in here giving it 1 star because they're not centered in the middle of a story for once in their goddamn life. I mean, it makes me sick. It really does. So I have to get that off my chest. I mean, I just can't. I mean, racism, sadly, is undefeated. And the fact that this is a 5.8 is a travesty. I mean, it affects our game. There's nothing we can do about it. But I mean, it's just a joke. It's a farce. People will be looking, I mean, not only did Beyonce originate the idea of a visual concept album, at least in the modern day, where every single one of her songs had a music video to accompany it, which was so audacious and bold, Christmas time 2013. But in this one, she truly has taken it to the next level. And anything less than 8, I'm just looking at America or the world just sideways. Like, seriously, get your shit together. All right, I'm off my soapbox. Back to the game. Okay, what else? The low ball. Now, while it may look like a close battle for the low ball, as you can see here, PK did not have a low ball qualifying call sheet because she needs to have spent at least $75,000. And yeah, she needs to have spent at least $75,000, and she did not. So, moving on to Jaybird 3, who might have a hammerlock on this. The fact that Black is King has been downvoted has helped his cause. Only 104.05. 124.86 in total score. The Wrong Stepfather. I mean, this is, and look at how strong this week is. Look how strong this week is. Right now, I mean, obviously the weekend isn't done, but running 8 points above average? It's wild. I mean, so even though Black is King did not perform on IMDb like we thought it would, it's still running hot. The whole slate is running hot over season averages. Which, I mean, you love to see it. I don't want to have a bunch of garbage content at my disposal. So this is good. This is really good. Anyways, so if I'm the next one to possibly knock him off his throne, and of course, if I won the low ball, I would take that $10 and roll it into the prize pool for next weekend. So y'all need to be really rooting for me, like straight up. But looks like with his Jaybird, with, you know, Upside Down Magic, probably I think is the lowest performing title we have maybe this week. So nothing even below a default score. That's a pretty rare weekend. And then The Wrong Stepfather was smart, and then Black is King was largely a salary play. And and Kelly looks incredible. Incredible in Black is King. Welcome back, Kelly Rowland. We miss you. Where else are we going? And then, yeah, my shot to hawk him down. I also have Black is King, but a day player, so, you know, minimize the damage there. The Fugitive actually is at a default score, and quite honestly, knowing Quibi, it's probably going to end the weekend in a default score. I actually wanted to stack up on some of the Fugitive, but it was so cheap, and I still kind of held out a little bit of hope that it might actually give us a score at final results, that I actually backed off from that strategy. I went with The Wrong Stepfather. And actually, if I'd swapped out The Wrong Stepfather for the Fugitive, I'd probably be in better shape. Upside Down Magic. Okay, so Jaybird and I share a bit of the same brain on that. Muppets Now. That's just me being a hater. I hate Muppets. Boring ass puppets, whatever. Anyways, so this is slightly backfiring on me because my personal hatred of the Muppets. I just never got them, even as a kid. I didn't get the appeal. And the Draft Mom finally, Brown Baby, mired in 13th. Definitely hurt by the Black is King commentary backlash. It's so stupid. Muppets Now did not do what she wanted to do, and The Fugitive will be our downfall. She has an optimal stack of The Fugitive. I really do hope it performs, not only for her, but for myself. I just have zero faith in Quibi at this point. One of the most grossly mismanaged content releases in recent history. I think they're going down in flames. I think this time next year, Quibi might not even exist in its current form. It might be acquired, or they might just kind of slink off into bankruptcy. I don't know. But the fact that there aren't even advanced reviews for this, and is Quibi still on that bullshit about like you must watch every episode on your phone, like you couldn't cast it anywhere or watch it on a bigger screen? I mean, it's almost like the leadership is dumber than a bag of hammers. But the issue is that they're not dumb people. Meg Whitman and Jeffrey Katzenberg, they're just old and out of touch. And I say this as a 40-something-year-old guy who's by the year becoming more old and out of touch. It's just, you hate to see it. Anyways, you know what? Let's just wrap this up. I guess I've been a little bit down on this on this update, and it's running a little long for a Saturday update. Thanks everybody for playing. We're hopefully bring more positive energy with our final results and talent pool preview podcast on Monday, sometime after 12 p.m. Pacific time. And of course, via email tomorrow, you will get your Sunday estimates update. Let's see if we can get some movement. All right, everybody. I'll see you all on Monday.